What is up, YouTube? This is your girl Nisi. I'm making a video that is well overdue. It's about my NCLEX PN experience. First, I want to start off with thank you guys for watching this channel. Please hit the like button and subscribe. Try to get my follower game up, so hit subscribe, hit the like button if you like, and if you have any comments, make sure you comment and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So, I challenged the board for the NCLEX PN July 19th. So for a lot of y'all that don't know me, so I'm a military medic. I'm in the Air Force, 4-0. So I'm currently in college going for psychology, but my overall goal is to be a nurse. So I did some research, things like that, and as a 4-0 or being in the medical field in the Air Force, you can challenge the board in Missouri or New York for your LPN license. Like, you don't have to go through a nursing program, because as soon as you're a 5 level, they'll accept that 5 level schooling as a nursing program. So you literally, you're challenging the board. You go there, you take the test. So, I wanted to do that, and I did it. So what I did was I had Air Force School pay for my study material, and I had Air Force School pay for my test. With Air Force School, you're giving up to $4,500 over one lifetime. It's no renewal like your TA's. $4,500. That's it. So I used it for some study material. Got some books off of Books A Million. I actually took the Kaplan course. I did the self-study Kaplan course. I would advise anyone that's going to challenge the board. I would advise anyone to do the Kaplan course, because I feel like that really helped me. I know a lot of anatomy and physiology, and I know like some patient care type stuff because I work in a clinic, but there's still some stuff that I did not know. And if I didn't have that book, I would have been, out of luck on that test. So I would advise people to, study. Just study. So I started my process in January, but I didn't really turn in my paperwork and get everything finalized until April. And then literally 2 weeks after I turned my paperwork into I went through Missouri Board of Nursing. I could have went through New York, but I went through Missouri. So after I turned my paperwork in, got my fingerprints, yada, yada, yada. After about 2 weeks, I got the code that you need. You need a code. It's like a code you're given. I used that code to sign up for the exam, and I actually took my exam in Alabama. I could have went in Florida, but me being in Eglin, the nearest test center was like Jacksonville, maybe. It was a little far, so I just went to Dothan, Alabama to take my test, which was no more than 2 hours away from me, which was pretty nice. And I stayed overnight. Like, I drove up on a Thursday, and I stayed overnight. I did some studying. I know a lot of people say don't study before a test, but I'm the type of person, I have to study in order to do well. So the night before, I kind of looked over some of my notes, and that helped me. Got a good night's rest, and then I took my test scheduled for 1 p.m. So I'm going to show you some of the study material that I use. So this book right here, the NCLEX Lab Value book, it helped me. I honestly didn't look through the whole book. Sometimes on my lunch break, I would look through some of it, but I mean, it has some good information in there. It has some mnemonics you can use. It gives you normal lab values, signs, and symptoms. In my opinion, that test, you got to know your signs and symptoms. On my test, for me, I only had one question on dosage calculation. So you know how the test work is, and I might make another video talking about how I feel like the tests operate. But how the tests work is, if you get something wrong, then your score, of course, it depends on how you're doing, if you're doing good or if you're doing bad. If you're doing good, the questions are gonna, in my opinion, they're gonna get harder. but when you're doing bad, you kind of know because the questions are just like real easy. And it's like, hold on, wait a second, why are you asking me these basic questions? But you got to know your signs and symptoms and your lab values because you want to be able to know if, all right, hey, this is normal, we're good, or wait a second, I need to intervene. So this book offers a lot of lab values. Okay, those are questions, just kidding. Lab values, right? So I'll kind of glance over that on my lunch break. So the next book I got was the Exam Cram. This was the first book I looked at. I love highlighters and stuff, so I highlighted all in the book. It gives you some good information. They give you a DVD at the end, and then there's 2 practice exams. It's like, yes, 200 questions, and it gives you the answers at the end and the reason, the rationale. So that was pretty helpful for me. I got an introduction. It's a pharmacology book. I didn't actually look in the book, but I should, but I did. So that one. So with the Kaplan self-study, so it was a 3-month course, and it was like $2.99, and it was self-study, right? So I could get on whenever I wanted to. And it broke down. It told me exactly how the test was set up. It gave me like questions and how to try to answer these questions. So that helped me a lot. I feel like that really helped me. And so it comes with the online, like an ebook, but I couldn't print it out. So I think it was like $30 or $40. I bought the book, like the hard copy book. And this helped me a lot. It's kind of similar to the Exam Cram, but it's more in depth. So it gave all those signs and symptoms, and it was some good stuff in here. So I would definitely recommend this book right here, right? And also with my Exam Cram, it was like a little cram sheet, something I would use when I was at work, or when I was just going out of town, or just something I just wanted to look up real quick. It gave me a breakdown of the test, like how with the NCLEX PN, there's minimum of 75 questions, maximum of 265. It gave some lab values. It gave me vitals, normal vital signs, a little jazz like that, little quick stuff that I could just reference when I'm in a car, when I'm out and about. I was able to use that. And the last little book that I got was an NCLEX PN flashcard book. So out of all of them, I feel like this one was my favorite. I loved it. When me and my husband would go out of town, I would always take it with me, and I would just answer the questions. It's just a book full of questions. And how I like to learn is I like to see questions. Questions help me. Like, you can give me the material, cool. But if you got some practice questions for me, I like that better. So it gave a bunch of questions, and then in the back, it gave the rationale. So it's pretty much, it's supposed to be flashcards, but it's a lot of them. It's like, 400 and something. 425 questions. So this was my right-hand man. I actually read through I went through all 425 questions of this book. I went through all this, and I did all this from April. I did all this from April until July. So that's the time frame that I studied. I know some people take longer to study and all that, blah, blah, blah. But I just did April to July. I was going to take my test at first, like in May. But I was like, no, I don't feel like I'm ready. Let me just wait. And then I thought about June. I'm like, nah, so I waited until July. And that's when I took it. I actually took it like a day before I went out of town. So that was different. What else? So I don't even know if I said it because I've been talking about the book and study material. So I passed. I was looking online because I'm like, all right. So first of all, I finished. It took me like 2 hours. I think it took me 2 hours. And so I got done with the test, and it took 2 hours. And then the little lady was like, "Hey, you didn't really use your little erase board. You must have knew all the questions." Ha ha ha. And I was like, "What you mean?" She's like, "You got done pretty quick. I hope you passed." I was like, "Oh, you made me nervous. I don't know." But then I went home and I tried to do the little thing where they say that you can look up online, like try to log in, and put your credit card information in, and if it says like what did it say? You've already taken this test, something of that nature. It did not let me re-register. So I'm like, all right, hold on, I might be good. Hold on. And then I went ahead and paid I think it was no more than $10, the little whatever that is. I paid $10 so I could see my results early. It's like the pre-results or something. And it said pass. I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. I passed. So it's doable. I have my license in Missouri. You know, Missouri is a compact state, so that works for me because I live in Florida. So it works for me. I'm really happy that I passed. Something else that helped me study. So one of my coworkers was a nurse, and she was like, "So this is something that you should remember." And maybe in another video I'll go more in depth about this. She was saying like, remember like chronic versus acute, stable versus unstable, invasive versus phases, Maslow's ABC, and D. D is for death or disability. So she gave me this cool little thing. Shout out to Abigail because she got me right. With my Kaplan course, this is they like went over like the decision tree with you, so that helped me. And like which patient you should see first. I feel like you should know that type of stuff, and you need to know therapeutic communication. So like, don't just talk about yourself. You know, don't just be like, well, your patient come in and be like, oh, well, I'm scared about this procedure, and then you be like, well, I think you'll be okay, because like, nah, it's not about you, it's about them. Okay. This is something else that I just Googled. I just Googled like NCLEX PN free study material. And then I was able to print this out, like with Burns, the Glasgow Coma Scale. Then print out some lab values. And I printed out this nice little thick book. And that helped me as well because it has like a lot of mnemonics. Like, yeah, I think I'll make another video about that because that helped me. I printed out some practice tests, some more pharmacology stuff, cardiac information, and that's that. So that really helped me. So I'm just making this video just to let you know that it's doable. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do it, because you can't. You can do anything you put your mind to. You know, with the military, working full-time, and I'm technically I'm a full-time student too. Working full-time, being a full-time student, I'm like, wait a second. And at the time, I was actually taking 3 online classes. I'm like, okay, how am I going to have time to study for this when I have to juggle 3 classes? You know, you got the discussion posts, all that. I'm like, how am I going to balance this? I'm like, no, I can do it because it's something that I want to do. And if it's meant to be, it will be. And I just went in with a real positive attitude, like, okay, I studied, I did what I needed to do, I know this stuff, all I gotta do is breathe and take the test. And I sat there and I breathed, and I took the test, and I had a good turnout. And even if you don't, because I know some people that did not pass the NCLEX, because a lot of people ask me like, okay, is it hard? So it's not easy, but it's not hard. It's not. It depends on how much you study. That all determines how you're going to do. Even people who study it just depends. So I'm not gonna say that it's easy, but how it went for me, it wasn't bad. Like some of the questions I laughed because I'm like, okay, I clearly know all 3 of these are not the answer. I think it was the different test for me because I took the NREMT, and you know that was totally different than the NCLEX because NREMT is multiple choice, all multiple choice. NCLEX was not all multiple choice. I had some place this in order, place this procedure in order, select all that apply. You know, I had stuff like that on mine. I had the fill in the blank. So it's not just multiple choice. It's not just multiple choice. And in my opinion, the questions weren't like define this, like stuff like that, stuff you would do in school. Like give me the definition of, I don't know, just give me the definition of something. It wasn't stuff like that. It was scenario based. So it was a different experience, but I'm glad that I did it. I think it's worth it. I got a license out of it, and I plan on going and once I'm finished with my degree in psychology, I plan on going for my BSN. Like I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep going because I know that if I really want something and I put my mind to it and I do the actions, you know, it'll happen. Everything happens that's supposed to happen, you know. So that's my story. I passed the NCLEX on the first try, the NCLEX PN. I've never been enrolled in a nursing program. I am a 4.0 in the military, but I was able to challenge the board through the state of Missouri. And as of July 19th, 2018, I am an LPN. All right, y'all. Like I said, just leave any comments if you need to. And I will vlog. I'll vlog a little later, y'all. See ya. So I forgot something. I'm back. So I forgot to show the study material that's on my cell phone. I have an iPhone and I downloaded NCLEX PN. I just typed in NCLEX PN and I used the top 3. Those helped me out a lot. The most piece NCLEX PN, and then the other ones are just called NCLEX PN. Okay, NCLEX PN Mastery. All right, now update my content. I use that. Pocket Prep. I used that, and I didn't pay for any. I didn't pay for the little things on my phone. I just used that. And then on YouTube, I watched a couple other people's video about their NCLEX experience and tips and tricks from them. I have one more to show you that I used when I would go to the gym, like the last weekend. I used this NCLEX Select All That Apply practice exam because I saw that I was having some issues with the Select All That Apply. So I started using this, and it was like 200 questions, and it just kind of helped me get my mind ready for a Select All That Apply thing. So that's all. I just missed those apps on my phone that I used to help me study, and then YouTube. So yeah, that's it. All right, now I'm really done. Like I said, hit me up in the comments if you have any comments. Hit the like button, share, do what you gotta do. All right, I'll make another video soon.